Good morning, Dr. Dradi, Chairman of Charity Council, Mr. David Gerald, Founder and CEO of Securities Investors Association Singapore, SIAS. It's wonderful to have both of you here. I think both of you lend tremendous experience, and certainly the weight of what you say will have a tremendous impact. So thank you once again for coming together and organizing this. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, all of you online, streaming in. It's a great pleasure to be here once again. This is my second year at the Charity Governance Conference, organized by SIAS with support from the Charity Council. Last year, this conference, I said that the work of charities is really going to be critical to our national drive to build a more caring and inclusive Singapore. We talk about this, we really want to see this on the ground, but I think the levers that make this work well would be fundamentally how we govern a charity sector and how we instill a sense of confidence in the public, in our charities. Since then, in the last year or so, we've seen a year that has remained challenging. We did this virtually online last year. We're back here again online this year. And it remains uncertain for many in the community. And on that note, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all charities and the individuals involved in the charity sector. I think despite the challenges, despite the risk in the community, and despite personal challenges and difficulties, many have faithfully continued to serve the disadvantaged, continued to practice the concept of inclusiveness and ensure that vulnerable segments of our society remain in the forefront of attention despite these times. But perhaps it is especially in these times like these, when the work of charities becomes even more important, more apparent, complementing as it has to the work of many government agencies. Not only do our charities provide tangible support to those in need, but collectively as a whole, our charity sector also engenders the sense that Singapore society cares and that we will look out for one another in good times and particularly in bad. And no one in Singapore should feel that they have to get through these hurdles, struggle by themselves. Today, we have a strong and well-run charity sector. It's adapted well, rose to the occasion, especially with the challenges of the last 18, 20 months or so. So you take, for instance, the charity Food from the Heart, which distributes food to the needy. During the pandemic, they changed their volunteer sources, explored different novel ways of delivering food to their beneficiaries. This includes collaborating with a courier service provider, which offered its platform and agents to deliver food free of charge during the circuit breaker. Many charities were able to respond to the new normal as well. And this, I think, is due in no small part to the very good work and foundations laid by the Commission of Charities, the COC, the Charity Council, and the members of the charity sector. One thing which COVID-19 has taught all of us is the need for everyone to be better prepared for uncertainties. We talk about uncertainties as if it's something that's going to hit us without us knowing. But actually today, every day is a day that's uncertain. We have to live with the only constant being that we might not know what will happen tomorrow, next week, next month. For individuals, this would involve things like having savings for a rainy day, ensuring strong social networks to rely on. For large organizations, charities, it is about being sustainable and remaining sustainable in the longer term. And this also requires progression. This also includes, therefore, putting in place a robust governance framework, one that's able to see the charity through, rain or shine, good times, bad times. Planning for the long-term sustainability has to be deliberate, and of course, adapting to new operating environments. All this while staying true to core values and to the original mission and vision of charities. But COVID-19 is, I think, not the only risk that charities face. There are other possible risks as well. The decrease and uncertainty in donations and volunteers, loss in public trust, and also the shifting operating context. And more recently, also the changing complexion and dynamics in the needs of society. Hence, the theme today, towards excellent governance, building a sustainable and progressive charity, is to me an important topic. One which allows us to plan and look long-term. Before the pandemic, we've already seen the growth in the donation figures of our charities, 2.5 billion in 2014 to 3.2 billion in 2019. There is also a steady increase in the number of IPCs over the past 10 years, from around 540 IPCs then to about 640 today. And the growth of the IPCs itself reflects a progression and an uplifting in terms of governance standards. Tax-deductible donations have increased from about 800 million to about 1 billion in 2019. This would not have been possible if our charities had not worked hard to improve their own governance model, thereby boosting public confidence in the charity sector. These efforts have actually translated into tangible benefits for the charities, and the government will continue to provide our fullest support in this endeavor to enhance governance and capability, and in turn, building confidence in the sector. Last year, I spoke about the Charities Go Digital Kit, the revised charity transparency framework, and of course also the 4 MOUs with the ISCA, Institute of Singapore Chartered Accountants, Law Society Pro Bono Services, Institute of Internal Auditors Singapore, and the Shared Services for Charities. I'm very happy to note 1 year on that these have all been very helpful for our charities. Today, let me just highlight a few areas where the government has stepped up focus on over the past year. First, in terms of funding support for strengthening digital capabilities in our charities. Charities really, like almost every other sector, now looks at digital virtual platforms as being the place to be on. Most of us, almost intuitively today, understand the need to invest in digital capabilities. But in some ways, charities do have to make difficult decisions when allocating charitable contributions towards your beneficiaries versus investing or plowing back some of it into the organization to improve. So to defray some of these costs, we've introduced a new category under the existing ICT grant as part of the VWO Charities Capabilities Fund last year, the VCF. Charities can tap on this category for digital solutions in addition to the other ICT needs that can be met by the existing ICT grant. And indeed, I think many have already done so. For instance, an art charity has tapped onto the ICT grant fund to set up a customer management system, which includes communication tools and data management, which is of course going to be all the more essential in today's environment. To further unlock funding support for the charity sector, COC has partnered with the National Council of Social Service, NCSS, and Tote Board to expand the Tech and Go charities funding to non-social service agencies. Tech and Go charities funding is a one-stop tech hub offering grants, advisory on how you can set up, go digital, enhance the platform, suggestions on pre-scoped IT solutions. NCSS has started accepting applications since August. It is now open to all charities from the arts and heritage, community, education, health, sports, and other sectors. And more details will be shared later on during this conference. The second thing I want to speak about is leveraging on partnerships, which we have established over the years. More and more charities don't operate in a silo or in a vacuum. I think they operate as part of society. So the more we're able to tap into, lean on, and plug into existing networks in society, the better we will be. So we have introduced the Shared Service Initiative in 2018 to pool together essential resources and services to improve capability building in the charity sector, and especially focus on the smaller charities, where the cost of overheads might not be so easily defrayed because there are no economies of scale. To date, over 7,000 charity representatives have participated in the training sessions organized by shared service partners. More than 300 charities have attended the various one-on-one consultation clinics for more in-depth advice, and at least 40% who attended were small and medium charities. I encourage the smaller charities to use the opportunity, tap on the expertise of these professionals so that they can look at exploring ways to raise the levels of governance, of compliance, and I think, as I said at the outset, in turn, boosting public confidence in these charities. Our partners stand ready to help you with advice, provide you with training on governance, on risk management, internal controls, to support your charity to move ahead together with you. Some charities have been very proactive also in establishing partnerships by themselves. And a good example is Caring for Life, a new charity that looks at rising mental health issues in Singapore with the aim of establishing a whole of community approach to suicide prevention. They are collaborating with organizations such as the IMH issue of mental health, ground up movements of SG families, as well as another charity, Samaritans of Singapore, and their efforts greatly complement government efforts in this area. So I encourage charities to also look at partners, look around you, the broader ecosystem, because there are many helping hands in the community already as it is today. And the more we're able to link up those helping hands, government, private sector, charities, the more the beneficiaries will be able to be served in a far more holistic and enhanced way. I think this will also enable charities to come together to pool resources and expertise to fundamentally create a strong and sustainable longer-term future that is holistic and in terms of outcomes and delivery of services. Third, let me say a little bit about raising public confidence in the sector. Last year, MCCY shared that we will provide basic information upfront on charities' profile pages on the charity profile. A charity portal. This will include indicating clearly the compliance status of the charity's regulatory submissions, the charity's compliance score for the Code of Governance for charities and IPCs. This, I think, will imbibe a strong sense of confidence, public confidence. It will give donors and grant makers a quick overview of the charity's regulatory compliance to help them make informed giving choices. It will be a staged implementation, starting with the IPCs. We have earlier conducted a small group consultation to gather ideas, thoughts, suggestions, and we'll be seeking feedback also from more stakeholders on how this can be rolled out, on how this can be presented. And I invite all charities and members of public to share your views and suggestions with us as to how we can scope this better with the fundamental objective of being more transparent and in turn raising public confidence in our charity sector. As I close, let me once again urge all of you here today, all different stakeholders in the charities sector in Singapore, to come together. I think I'd like to emphasize the point I made earlier about partnerships. I think increasingly this is going to be important as we strive to build a stronger, more sustainable, long-lasting charity sector, which in turn will support our efforts in Singapore, in government, to look at Singapore as a place where people will feel included. They will feel that if I am in need, there will be a strong network of many helping hands to support. And I think all of you at today's conference, all these stakeholders make a clear, indelible mark on our society in Singapore today. So let me thank SIAS, Charity Council, the many speakers and panelists today coming together, sharing ideas, giving suggestions, boosting the thought leadership in the charity sector in the conference today. It's no coincidence that we have, when you look across the screen, we see people of repute and standing. And we are very grateful to all of you for taking time out, for lending us expertise and sharing your own experiences. I think these occasions really help to build a far more sustainable and a longer term, stronger charity sector. So thank you very much. And I wish all of you a very fruitful conference. Thank you.